Hi everyone, I'm Jamie Ruthenberg and you're watching Jamie's Book in a Bite. So today I'm talking about a new novel that I'm writing that actually is appropriate for new chapter book readers as well as adults. And then we're going to move into the kitchen and make a dish that is the main character's absolute favorite dinner that is made in the book. And it's mine as well. My entire family loves this recipe, and so I thought I'd make it today with you. And don't forget to check out those bloopers at the end. I get pretty slap happy and I think they're worth watching. So like I said, I'm working on a new novel, a chapter book, and the main character is a 12-year-old boy, and I can't tell you his name yet because it's still in the workings. I think I know what it is, but in case I change it. It's really exciting, actually. And for all you Miles lovers out there, don't worry, there's going to be a 5th book in the Miles series, but this book will come out first, just to let you know, so you don't have to worry. So I don't want to give too many of the details of the story, but I will say that he and his mother are in a new home situation, just moved in, and new school and the whole shot. And his mother's working 2 jobs to make ends meet as they're moving into this new home. And he finds himself with some time on his hands because she's working evenings as well. And because he really hasn't established some solid friendships because it's just brand new. He just started new at this school. And he discovers while he's kind of walking around in the woods behind their house, a stray dog. And the story kind of goes from there. And really this story is about 2 like souls coming together, really helping each other through some tough times in each of their lives. And their worlds parallel each other, interestingly. And the reader finds out because the animals talk to each other. The woodland animals, the dog, and actually his house cat as well. And this is unbeknownst to the humans in the story. As readers, we are privileged to hear what they're saying. And the themes in the story are actually much similar to the Miles series, seeking to understand rather than judge, empathy, friendship, helping others in need. So it's the same feel in terms of what the book is really all about. And of course there will be artwork here and there throughout each of the chapters, and I'm thinking that they will be sketched in pencil. So there's a scene in the book that I do know of, that I'm happy to share, where his mother has a rare night off and she senses that he's having a bit of a hard time with the new situation. And she makes him his favorite dinner ever and sits down with him and actually talks to him to find out how he's doing. It's a very heartfelt scene and a tender scene and showing how much these 2 characters truly love each other. So what is his favorite thing to eat, you might be asking? I said it earlier, so you probably already know, but it's chicken tetrazzini, and it's actually one of my ultimate favorite dishes ever. So, and I know I say that a lot, but this is really good. So let's go make some tetrazzini. Come with me. All right, so here we are in the kitchen, and we're gonna make chicken tetrazzini. I kind of see chicken tetrazzini, at least this version of it, as kind of a lighter version of a kind of a chicken Alfredo, because it's not all heavy cream. There's actually half chicken broth in this, and I lighten it up even more by adding not 2 cups, but 1 cup of heavy cream and then 1 cup of milk. So it's kind of a lighter version, and it's extremely delicious. You can put in any medley of veggies that you would like, and with the chicken or without. Another helpful tip is that you can actually use rotisserie chicken. I actually cooked chicken last night and popped it in the fridge. Sometimes I'll put it in the freezer. And actually that's what I'm gonna do right now is heat it up in the microwave while I'm doing this. I'll be back in a sec. You might be able to hear that microwave, so I apologize, it won't take long. I've seen in restaurants chicken tetrazzini when they have the pasta and then they have a large chicken breast or a chicken scallopini put over the top. This recipe is my mother's recipe, and she always had it in chunks within the pasta, and that's kind of how I like it too. Both are wonderful. This is just a different version. So first what you do when you're making this pasta is I have a big pot of boiling water here. That's where the pasta is going to go, and I use linguini actually, and you want to get that going right away because while that's cooking, the sauce will come together, and it comes together quickly. So I'm going to add to this pot 1 pound of, I use linguini. A lot of people use spaghetti. I've even used penne, to be honest with you. The pasta actually holds the sauce really well, but I thought I'd go a little more traditional today and use linguini. So I'm going to put 1 pound of pasta right in the pot. Okay, so while our pasta is cooking, I have 1/2 cup or 1 full stick unsalted butter. Use a big pot for this because it makes a lot of tetrazzini. And what I'm going to do with this, what I'm going to add to this, I'm going to whisk in another 1/2 cup. It's equal parts butter to equal parts flour to make a roux. And that's what we're going to make here. So we're going to have 1/2 cup of flour. We're going to heat up this butter a little bit, and then I'm going to whisk in this flour slowly and make a roux. This actually, I did this with my mac and cheese as well. You always start off with a roux whenever you have a really nice cream sauce. All right, that's it. So what you do is you wait for this to get nice and bubbly, and you really want to cook that flour taste out of the mixture, and that's when you add the liquids. So it just takes a second. I've switched to a spatula, and now actually while this is becoming bubbly, I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of salt. My teaspoon. There it is. And you don't want to do more than that because we add a whole cup of Parmesan to this in the end. And this is already measured out, half a teaspoon of freshly ground pepper. Freshly ground makes such a difference. It's really worth getting a pepper grinder and grinding it up. It's really flavorful. So I'm going to mix this in, and it's starting to bubble. I think I actually added a whole teaspoon of pepper to this, just by accident. Great. You're not supposed to know this. Okay, we're bubbly. Nice and bubbly. So what I'm going to do is go back to my whisk. And I'm going to put in the chicken stock first because the chicken stock is actually at room temperature. And if you put something cold in there, it will seize up and you'll make a bunch of dumplings. But what I'm going to do is slowly add in the chicken stock, the broth. Put a little first. Mix it around. Really whisk that in, add in more. It's really absorbing that chicken stock. Oh, it smells so good already. There's something magical about chicken broth. It makes everything taste good. I saw someone on TV put chicken broth in their mashed potatoes the other day, and you know what? I'm doing it. Just saying. Put the rest in. Whisk this about until it's nice and smooth. So this was 2 cups of chicken broth. To this now I'm going to add 1 cup of heavy cream and 1 cup of whole milk. Traditionally it calls for 2 cups of heavy cream, but I lightened it up a little more. I mean, if you really want to lighten it up, you probably could do you just do the whole thing whole milk, but that bit of heavy cream really does make it wonderful. Here we go with the milk and cream mixture. Pour in slowly. I could eat this just as it is now. It's amazing. Yum. So now what you're going to do is you're going to bring this to a boil and let it boil for about 1 minute to really get the benefits of that flour to thicken that sauce. And once this boils for a minute, what you're going to add is 4 cups of cubed cooked chicken. You can also use rotisserie chicken from your local grocery store. That's super easy and wonderful as well. I just like kind of making the chicken myself. But when in a pinch, rotisserie chicken is fantastic. It's been boiling for about 1 minute, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to add in that beautiful chicken that I just heated up in the microwave. What I have right here are 3 whole chicken breasts, skinless, and all the juice that came off when they were being baked. And remember, like I said, you can put them in a 9x13 pan, add a little water, salt and pepper, cover them, bake for about an hour, hour and a half, and we have that going on. All those juices are full of flavor as well. Then goes in the beautiful pasta. In this case, when I have spaghetti or linguini, I just take it right from the pot next to it and put it right in. You don't necessarily want to add the whole pound of pasta because I like to have kind of a saucy pasta. This is a good amount of sauce, so I think it's going to take the whole thing. I still have the heat going. I'm going to bring this to a boil again, and then I'll tell you something else, another little trick, kind of like my mac and cheese. I'm going to set this aside. Okay, so we are really bubbling. Now this is the trick. A lot of times, traditionally, what my mom would do, and what most people do, is at this point, they put it in a greased 9x13 pan, and covered up, or not covered up, however you want to do it, and put it in the oven. Again, I like very saucy, moist pasta, and I find that when I put this in the oven, that all the pasta soaks up that sauce and you have a dry pasta. Now some people like that. What I like to do is, again, another shortcut, and also keeps it really creamy, is I keep it over the stove. Now it's at a crazy boil. I'm turning it down to like medium low, possibly low, so that it just keeps a simmer, and I cook it for about 5 to 10 minutes, depending on how saucy it is, until it's the consistency that you like. And remember, the last step we're going to do here is we're going to take it off the heat once it's done and add a cup of Parmesan cheese, which absorbs some of that liquid. So you don't want to get it too dry, but you want to thicken it a bit so it's not soupy. So that's what we're going to do right now. So I'll see you in maybe 3 minutes or so. It's been about 5-6 minutes. Sometimes I've gone even 10 if it's because I added more pasta than I usually do. But what I'm going to do is turn off the burner, take it off that hot burner, okay? Don't put the cheese in with it on the burner because what it does is it burns to your pot and then you're soaking a pot for 2 days because it just won't come off. It's like cement. What I'm going to do is add in at this point an entire cup of Parmesan cheese. Yum. I mean, how can you go wrong with Parmesan? And you can freshly grate it yourself. I'm going to retire to a very large spoon at this point because this is heavy duty. Wow. It's simple. It's pretty fast. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is at this point, it's just about ready to serve. I like to let it set, so I set it aside for about 5 minutes or so while I get plates out and clean up a little bit, and that's what I'm going to do now. And it's going to be time to eat. Well, here we are, and this is comfort on a plate. No joke, it is so good. When you serve it, what I do is I put some freshly shaved Parmesan on top. Usually I put some fresh cracked pepper as well, but I realized that instead of a half a teaspoon of pepper, I put an entire teaspoon of pepper in this. It's actually not bad, but it's got a little kick to it, so I think I'm gonna refrain from more pepper. It's time to taste it. And by the way, like I said, you can have fun with this, change it up. Put other vegetables in with the chicken, or in lieu of chicken, you can do anything you want. Asparagus, peas, zucchini, mushrooms. Mushrooms are usually traditionally in this, but some people in my family don't like it, so I got used to making it without mushrooms. But mushrooms are delicious. So, well, I'm gonna taste. It's time to go in. Take a little twirl. You know, I love that there's chicken broth in this because it adds so much depth. Then that Parmesan has that nuttiness to it. It's so lovely. And you can actually punch up the cheeses a bit. If you wanted to add cheese with a little more kick to it, like add a little Romano to the Parmesan, that's fantastic too. Well, I hope you try this. This is one of my family staples. I grew up eating this, my mother making it, and I make it now for my family. And it's always been something that is so delicious, but extremely comforting. So I hope you try it. I probably will post the next video in about a month. There's some things happening in the next few weeks, and it's gonna be a little busy. So that's it for today. The recipe is below. If you hit show more, it'll give you all the information on how to connect with me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, the whole shot. My website and my Facebook author page as well. All kinds of good things. So I hope you take a look, and remember to hit that subscribe button. Try this dish, you'll love it. Thanks for hanging with me, and until next time, mwah. There's a huge plane going overhead. Thank you. What am I doing? You can put in any, another helpful tip, another helpful tip. I can't talk today. Let's just like say it. Holy cow, I put way too much pepper in this. Shh, my daughter's not gonna eat this now. This was supposed to be dinner tonight. And we go with the milk and cream mixture. Easy for me to say. Here we go with the, and that pasta water. Whoops. Let's see. It's good. So remember something. I can't remember. So remember, it's very, I can't form words.